approximately 5 in the morning, and we're getting ready to go flying. So let's take a look at our flight plan. We're going from this place called Grande Prairie, Alberta, Canada, to Edmonton, Alberta. It's going to take us about an hour. And here's our flight plan. Esky 2. So that's just the arrival going into Edmonton International. We'll be cruising at flight level 210 at approximately 255 knots. The plane will usually do a little bit better, but we have a wicked tailwind at flight level 210 of almost 60 knots. So that's going to be awesome. You can see this high pressure pushing all that nasty weather out, and we got clear skies all the way down here. So Grande Prairie is looking pretty good. Currently it's 240 at 10 knots, 25 statute miles, visibility, few at flight level 200. Edmonton International, where we're landing. The winds are 210 at 6 knots, 20 statute miles, few at flight level 210, and the forecast has nothing in it that is going to impede our flight. Just kidding, that's not the airplane. And that's not the airplane either. So first things first, do our walk around. As you can see, we got cowl plugs in and everything. So watch your head on the propeller. Welcome back into the cockpit, everybody. I'm starting the left-hand side first. You can see those are the 3-blade props, and just waiting for at least 12% or until NG stabilizes before I add the fuel. And just monitoring everything to make sure that everything spools up accordingly. And then cross-starting the right engine now, using the left engine. You usually have to add a little bit of power to make sure you got enough going through the generator to assist in the cross start. So starters are off, get the avionics on, and start our taxi to the active. You see the sun just rising up there. And overspeed governor checks, as well as our auto feather checks. I'm just going to input the flight plan into the GTN 750 Garmin touchscreen display. That's the Esky 2 arrival to Edmonton International Airport. Cleared for takeoff, 8:20 a.m. Runway 30 at Grande Prairie, just letting those engines spool up. Checking that the auto feather system is armed and functioning properly. Rotate at 98 knots. Once we confirm there's a positive rate of climb and that the airplane is visually clear of the runway, we bring the landing gear up and let the airplane accelerate to 130 knots to 150 knots. It just gives us good visibility off the front nose and a little extra speed just in case we were to have an engine failure or a critical malfunction. Speed is life in this airplane. You never ever want to be caught off guard when you're flying too slow. It's a beautiful sunrise. That's looking to the northwest. We're just going to start a turn now, left-hand turn, where we will continue our climb, fly past the airport, and start heading southeast for Edmonton. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Garmin G600. A lot of airplanes are retrofitted with this. It's not uncommon to see this in a lot of older airplanes too. And we are clear direct to Esky now. I'm just putting that into the GTN 750. And here we are at flight level 210. A little bit of eye candy. There's all that Garmin gear. There's our flight plan. See all the waypoints there for the arrival. And we'll likely be doing the RNAV approach at Edmonton International. And here I'm just bringing the props back to about 1800 RPM. That way they're a little bit quieter for the cabin, especially with the 3-blade props. I find they're quite a bit noisier. Nice view off the left wing. And once we're up at a safe altitude with sufficient speed, we can turn the auto feather off. And that is the synthetic vision on the G600. Input your speeds if you want to display them on the primary flight display. Lots of little tools you can set up and use. Set our altimeters and start planning our approach. In this case, we're going to be putting in the ILS for Edmonton. Probably will cancel once we get close in. As you can see, the weather is pretty nice. You can almost see all the way across Alberta. And landing gear's coming down now. Verify with the hydraulic pressure light. And once we're confirmed 3 green, continue our approach. So at this point I've canceled the IFR and you see the runway straight ahead. Double and triple checking the landing checklist just to make sure I have all the items completed, as well as doing a flow check to visually confirm that everything is normal and where it needs to be. And I'm aiming anywhere from 120 to 130 knots, and then slowing up to 105 to 110 as we approach the threshold. And that just adds a little bit of margin in the event that we have to overshoot. Plus, we've got a really long runway here at Edmonton International, so we're just going to fly the airplane under about 400 foot-pounds of torque per engine. Just fly the airplane onto the runway. That way we can make it nice and smooth and get off the runway sooner. So they'll probably make us exit at the end. At this point, I'm just walking the power levers back to transition into the flare. And I should be at about 105 knots now. And just flying the airplane onto the runway. Try to make it as smooth as possible. With lots of runway, you barely have to touch the brakes. A little bit of beta should slow you down enough. And that pretty much wraps up this flight. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe or leave a comment in the comment section below. And I will see you on the next adventure. Take care, everybody.